And back here at Bronco Stadium, where we're getting ready for kickoff, the teams have been introduced, and we're about ready to start the 3A state championship game. Snake River out on the field right now. Fruitland getting last-minute instructions from Coach Line, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of attack that Snake River comes out. Primarily a run first team and pass second, but the state championship game, as we saw a couple of years ago when the Grizzlies played Salmon, it's kind of anything goes, and it looks like Snake River has won the toss, and they're going to receive. And as we always like to do to get things started off with the voice of the Grizzlies. The voice of the Grizzlies, Kelly Hingler. Kelly, you got a victory in you today?
Dave, I feel good about this one. I really do. You never know the Southeastern teams. We don't get to see a lot of them, and I know Snake River's tough, but I'll tell you, I've got a good feeling. I think Fruitland's due to come out with one here this afternoon.
All right, the Grizzlies will kick the football from the north end of the stadium to the south end. Their sidelines are the east end. They are the home team here today. The Panthers on the west end. So Big Reed puts his right foot into it, boots it to the edge of the orange, and it'll be a touchback. First down and 10 at the 20 for Snake River. So let's take a look at this Snake River football team that we've talked about. C.J. Toulouse. Toulouse has 1,700 yards passing on the season, 8 touchdowns but 10 interceptions. His favorite tailback is Emmett Smith, not the Emmett Smith, but in Snake River land, Kelly, they love he has 600 yards and 12 touchdowns rushing. So we'll see how he performs in this football game, and we'll set up the Fruitland defense for you after this play. So they bunch up in a wing tee similar to the Grizz. We'll see a little bit more work to the left and right as they carry it on the first play, maybe pick up a half yard as Joe Mart makes the stop. Joe Martorano, who's the 6'3 sophomore, 105 tackles on the season, 2 interceptions, and 5 sacks. Tyler Graves leads the way with 14 sacks. Trevor Stanger, the man in the middle, 6 sacks, 66 tackles, 6 are wide for him or wild. And Mike Humphreys on that end, 7 sacks and 66 tackles. This Fruitland Grizz defense only gives up 12 points per game. So here we go on second and long. They give it through the first back through, and it'll be pushed up for about a gain of 7 yards. So Kelly, in essence, as Emmett Smith carries it, the Grizz are looking at a mirror of their own offense tonight.
Yeah, they are, Dave. And, we talked about Fruitland practicing against that first team O and second team D and vice versa. And they've been doing it all season long, Dave. But certainly Snake River executed well on that play and just leaves them with a 3rd and short.
Warrington and Wright are the leaders with 2 interceptions each. So here comes Toulouse. Takes the snap, turns to the right side, hands it off to Smith. Has an opening to the 40, up to the 46-yard line, and nearly pushes it into Fruitland territory as Travis Holt, in essence, saves maybe not a touchdown, but big yards gained on that as Emmett Smith went off the right tackle and pushed it up for big yards. It'll be a 1st and 10 spotted at the 46-yard line of Snake River.
Yeah, just a great run there right off the side, Dave. Broke through that interior line and picked up big yardage.
Here comes Snake River. Remember, they've got a couple of losses on the season while Fruitland is undefeated. They get maybe to the original line of scrimmage. At that time, Derek Williams with the carry, Mike Humphreys with the stop. The big surprise, Kelly, or the upset, if you will, is Sugar Salem. I equate that a little bit to last year when Fruitland got by Payette. Remember, they lost during the regular season, but they beat Payette to get to this game. Same thing happened with Sugar Salem and Snake River.
Yeah, I know. Sugar Salem getting Snake early in the year, but to turn the tables on the playoffs, and probably just shows you how much the Snake River team's improved.
So this wing T has a different look as they go out of the gun. 3 receivers to the left. Toulouse under pressure gets sacked. So nicely done, as I believe it was Joe Mart picking up his 6th sack of the season as this Grizzly defense led by Larry Ziegler, the coordinator on the sideline. They're going to blitz every single play, and when he saw 3 trips to the right, he went, look out.
Yeah, that's a good point, Dave. And Fruitland has not blitzed a lot during the playoffs here, playing Homedale against a very versatile quarterback, and then Bonner's Ferry, and then last week Weezer. Haven't dialed it up. Coach Ziegler told me this week the defense is coming hard.
So again, Toulouse will split 3 receivers. It's a rabbit formation to the left side. He's got a single setback to protect it. He steps up, throws ball. He's overthrown. The nearest person, I believe, was Warrington, but it will be a big incompletion as it brings up 4th down in Snake River. Although they did keep the drive alive, they'll be forced to punt right here. And Fruitland should get it in pretty good territory as Travis Holt goes back to retrieve it for the Grizz.
Well, and that's what you want to do is get Snake in that third and long position, Dave, where they can't have the option of running the ball. And nice defensive pressure there. Travis Holt, nice job on the coverage.
So Cooper Preston will step up to punt the football. He'll boot it roughly from his 30-yard line. Holt will gather it at the 40, up to the 45, near the midfield mark. Cuts across to the 45, plunges ahead to the 40-yard line, and the Grizz open this game with excellent field position. And let's take a look at how they work. Kelly, normally I would go to the offensive side. The skilled go to the big uglies of the 5 friendly fatties. All-State, Andrew Ketchum, 6'3", 245. Reed Johnson, 6'2", 205. Scott Daly, 6'3", 215. Mike Humphrey, and the man in the middle, Brady Shepard, 6'2", 265.
Yeah, nice. They do a great job. Done it all. Coach Slice has probably the best offensive line in Fruitland history, and I think they've proven that game in, game out.
So the Grizzlies show the single wing, then they bunch out to the wing T. Jomart turns, hands it off to Blackwell. Blackwell cuts across, pushes up to the 28-yard line, and it'll be a pickup of 11 yards for Blackwell.
Yeah, Dalton Blackwell had a huge game last week, Dave, against Weiser, and he sat out a couple of games here towards the end of the regular season, but he's back and seems like he's running downhill more and more as the playoffs progress there. Nice pickup on first down.
So the Grizzlies will push the football up to the 29-yard line as Blackwell picks up 11. Both Blackwell and Martin have an opportunity today to go over 1,000 yards on the season. Martirano gets behind Brady Shepard. He'll split one receiver to the right, one to the left. Martin is the single setback. They give it to the big Thunder truck, and he could be off to the races. Touchdown, Fruitland! So the Grizzlies on the second play from scrimmage take the rock, get on a roll, 29 yards as Jordan Martin, the senior, strikes first for the Grizz.
Yeah, just a simple handoff up the middle. Dave broke the left-hand side, broke 2 tackles, and then broke the safety tackle about the 15-yard line, and he was in the orange of the Bronco end zone, right where the Grizzlies want to be this afternoon.
So the Fruitland Grizzlies open this one up in a hurry. That play took all of, about 42 seconds. They traveled 20, or check that, 39 yards, 2 plays. Martin with the 29-yard run. Here's Reed Johnson. The point after it is up and good. So with 8:40 to go in this first quarter, it's looking good early on for Fruitland. They lead it 7-0 back after this 60-second timeout on the Fruitland Grizzly Radio. Back. Dave Tester along with Kelly Hingler, and my sister-in-law called and wanted to know the score. So, Sis, here it is. Fruitland is up 7-0 on Snake River, and Kelly Hingler, I hate to say yeoman-like effort. They just ran over the top of Snake River. 2 plays, covered 40 yards. They give it to the Toyota Tundra. Jordan Martin, his final game. Look out below.
Yeah, Dave, and we've got to give credit to Travis Holt, who had that 20-yard punt return down Fruitland in great field position at their own 40 to start that drive.
So here comes the talented toe of Reed Johnson, who doubles his linebacker and guard. Reed boots it into the end zone. It'll be another touchback. Kelly, so many of these kids, think back to when Reed was a sophomore. Who's this kicker? Is Reed Johnson, and now coming up on his final game.
Yeah, it's not like who's this kicker, but who's this kicker that keeps kicking in the end zone.
Right.
I'll tell you, Dave, it's refreshing to see. Reed's had a few problems, leg problems here the last couple of weeks, and it looks like he's completely healed up. He's really booting that ball well on the kickoff.
So the football will be spotted at the 20-yard line. The elements are not a factor, but it's cold, and Kelly, I guess we could say damp. There is snow along the foothills here of Bogus. It's a beautiful, I guess, early November here as kids get ready for Thanksgiving break. They run a little delayed handoff, and that's Derek Williams, but it didn't fool anybody. Kelly, you always talk about you're going to hire a certain coach to lead a certain team, and you've got to hire them from that land and all those elements. Can a wing T coach stop the wing T? I don't know that, but, it looks like the Grizz are doing that right now. But, the reason you run the wing T, nobody else does. These 2 wingers are beating in the title game.
Well, I think that's interesting, Dave. It's an interesting point, and I think, also what you're doing from an offensive standpoint, you're trying to guess how they're going to stop you defensively, and then you add that extra wrinkle. And right now, Fruitland has definitely moved the ball. Snake River struggling just a little bit here early on.
Early on, it's 7-0 Grizz. Back to pass, and Toulouse just throws it up in the air, but making a catch and running under it as they keep it alive is Martin Rabbit. So Rabbit runs under there, makes the catch. He's got 14 catches on the season. And there was a bit of a blind blitz there, so the fact that Rabbit can make that catch was very important.
Well, it was, Dave, and give credit to Toulouse there. He just kind of threw that ball up there, hoping his guy was going to get out there, and he ran right underneath it. But also good defensive reaction there. Fruitland able to stop him just to a short game where that might have been a long one had the Grizzlies not had some good pursuit there on the defensive end.
So it'll bring up a third, we'll call it 3rd and 4.5. Pick up a 6 on the play. They go from the traditional wing T look, and they give it to the tailback. And Emmett Smith has looked very tough there, and he lowers it. Kelly picks up big yards, about 12.5, and it's enough for the first down as he pushes the ball up to the 40, we'll call it the 41-yard line of Snake River.
Well, Fruitland's done a nice job defensively so far, Dave, but I'll tell you, they haven't had an answer for Emmett Smith yet. He's knocked off a couple pretty long runs here in the first quarter.
As we mentioned, Smith comes into this game with 600 yards on the ground, 12 touchdowns, and this is a team that a week ago had beaten Kimberly, threw for 150, ran for 150. Toulouse keeps on his own, and he turns around the 47, and he's tossed to the sidelines. As making the stop on him is Reggie Ramirez. So R squared with the stop, but not before the quarterback picks up 7 yards.
On the big play there by Reggie, fought off that block on the end, was able to contain, and then came in and made the stop, and held him to at least a 6 or 7 yard gain. So
Dave Tester, the voice of the Grizzlies, Kelly Hingler, Rance Pugmire, and Dave Combs, hoping you're enjoying all the play-by-play action of Fruitland High School football. It's the 5th year in a row they've played for this title. Again, out of the pass look. This time Toulouse runs more of a wildcat look. The reason we say wildcat, he goes out of the shotgun. Split 3 receivers to his right side, showed the fly, faked it, and then tucked it himself, turned the corner. It'll bring up a 3rd and short. Again, we're at Broncos Stadium, where last night Boise State hammered Fresno State in a big way. 51-0. It was a capacity crowd last night. Some people forgot their chairs as we see the orange seats kind of clustered throughout the stadium. But what a game for BSU.
Yeah, Dave, and actually officials took a second look and gave Snake River the first down. It looks like right at the 49.
So at the midfield mark, they'll turn and keep the drive alive. They give it to Smith, and he is stood straight up by Tyler Graves. First chance we've had a chance to mention Graves' number. 6'5", 220 pounds. I know the entire Grizzlies staff really believes this young man can play at the next level. I know they've lobbied, or at least asked me to lobby, from Rob Akey to Boise State. I made a call to an old friend of ours, Mike Cox, yesterday, who's the linebacker coach at Washington. I think more than anything, Kelly's just getting his name and tape out to everybody.
No, and that's a big part of it, Dave. There's so many young men playing high school football that you've got to have an inroad.
Football's on the left hash. Back to pass to Luce. He's got a man wide open, throws it up, and it's picked off. There is a flag on the play, but Ryan Holt pulled it out of the sky. But the way the official is running back to the head linesman, if you will, the referee, he's telling him that it's going to be pass interference, holding against Fruitland. So instead of the Grizz having a pick, they're going to have a hold on that play. But what a brilliant interception, even though it's just count, by Ryan Wright.
Yeah, no, Ryan Wright right on the coverage there, Dave. And I don't even know if it was his man that had the hold because it didn't appear. Maybe it was on another receiver. But tough break there for Fruitland. Could have used the turnover there and stopped this Snake River drive instead. Snake River trailing 7-0, Dave, and they're inside the 40-yard line.
What a great story by Ryan Wright, who quarterbacked this team last year at the state championship game. Ryan could have said, hey, I'm not quarterback. I don't want to be out there, but he's come back to be a brilliant defensive player here for the Grizz. They lead it 7-0. We're at the midway point of the first quarter. Grizz looked like they had a turnover, but the interception was denied. The official said holding, and on that first down, they pick up maybe a yard, and we'll call it 2nd down and 9. Snake River and Fruitland earlier, prior to this game, the reason for our late start, BK and Blackfoot went longer than anticipated as BK defeats Blackfoot 41-28 in the 4A title game, which through 3 quarters was a pretty good football game, but in the 4th quarter, BK turned it into a laugher. Football is spotted at the 38-yard line. Trying to turn the corner is Williams, but Williams is greeted in a big way by Humphrey, and also out there helping out was Reggie Ramirez.
Yeah, Dave, nice to be calling Reggie's name. He's playing that corner pretty tough right now. He had a tough game last week, slipped and fell on one Weezer touchdown, but ends up making the key interception down the stretch to seal that victory over the Wolverines. And, boy, we've been calling his name a few times already here in the first quarter.
What a win for the Grizzlies last week to get in here by the slimmest of margin, just about hardly any time left to beat their nemesis 2 times, which is unheard of. 2 receivers will split to the right. They go out of a shotgun here on 3rd and 12. Deleuze is going to run it himself, but there is nowhere to go. So when Larry Ziegler dials up that blitz, this time was Joe Martirano with his 2nd sack of this game. Kelly, remember, he came into the game with 5 sacks. You look at his number and go, oh, yeah, he's the starting quarterback. He's got 110 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 7 sacks. Not bad for a quarterback.
No, he plays both sides of the ball very well, Dave. And I'll tell you, it's been fun just to watch him grow up and develop. And, boy, that Homedale game 3 weeks ago, I mean, offensively, he had some great plays, great runs there to push the Grizzlies over the top in that game.
And Kelly, we've got to remember he's a 2-year starter in this game because last year, as Snake River punts the football, they'll work to the corner. The official is going to mark it at, well, he started to the 20. Now he walks up to the 24.5-yard line. But remember, last year, Kelly, he started in this championship game. He was the starting backer as a freshman.
No, he was, Dave, and he was starting on the basketball court, and I believe he might have started in baseball. Just a gifted athlete, Dave, now at the quarterback position, and, he's not afraid to throw, Dave. Fruitland's averaging about 6 passes per game, and his favorite target is Tyler Graves.
So here come the Grizzlies with the football at the 24-yard line. They start in the single wing, bunch out to the double wing. They'll split one receiver, James Livingston, way to the left side of the far side of the field. Blackwell takes it, hurdles over one of the linemen, stays on his feet, and Blackwell's going to get about 4 yards on the play. Blackwell with his 2nd rush of this contest, and it'll bring up a 2nd down. We'll call it 6.5, 7 yards for the Fruitland Grizzlies. They lead it 7-0 with 2 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the first quarter. On their first possession, they took the football roughly 40 yards. Jordan Martin with a 29-yard touchdown, and that's where we stand right now. Grizz to the near side of our location. Far side of the field is the Grizz sideline. They'll send one receiver to the right. Blackwell goes in motion. They give it to Martin, the fullback. And Jordo lowers his head and picks up 3 yards on the play. It'll bring up a 3rd and short for the Fruitland Grizzlies.
Well, pretty conservative right now. Coach Tracy, offensive coordinator for the Grizzlies, just kind of trying to establish some dominance there on the line of scrimmage. And right now, Fruitland kind of winning that battle. Key down coming up here, though, 3rd and short.
Grizzlies undefeated on the season, ranked number 1 throughout the season. And Kelly, I got to believe next year they open the season the same way as the number 1 team in the state of Idaho.
Well, they're going to be losing that line, Dave, but like I was telling you, that JV team didn't lose one there this year either. So
Brady Shepard wraps his right hand around the pigskin. Joe Martin gets behind him, turns, hands it off to Martin, and Jordan just rolls and rumbles and bumbles and stumbles. It picks up 12 yards for a 1st down.
Well, nice opening there right along that right-hand side of that line, Dave. It didn't take him long to hit that gap. Pretty simple, straightforward football, but Grizzlies able to move the ball on the ground right here. Got a $1:38 left in the first quarter. Grizzlies up 7-0.
Martin needs 150 yards in this game to go over 1,000. Blackwell needs 70 yards to go over 1,000. What a year last year Dalton Blackwell had on this team. Over 30 touchdowns and over 1,000 yards rushing. They turn, they're going to give it off to Dalton Blackwell. Blackwell across the midfield mark, keeps his feet, and stumbles at the 46-yard line, so Dalton with 9 yards.
Yeah, great 1st down pickup there, Dave. Again, on that right side of the line, just hit the crease there, and just a nice running, some good blocking up front there, and Grizzlies just sticking to that ground game, Dave, kind of working this clock and doing what they do best, running the football.
So Joe Martirano and Travis Holt come from the sidelines. Joe Mart sets up the play. 60 seconds to go here in this first frame. Grizz up 7-0. Martirano brings him out of the single wing. Then they bunch out to the double wing look. One receiver way to the left side, and they're going to throw it to him. Maybe wide open across the middle, and that's got to be pass interference. Is Colson Warrington. Now, Kelly, I was looking over to Travis Holt because Holt built a little campfire around himself. There was nowhere near it. But they still get the flag, so it'll be 15 yards. But that's probably the biggest difference of this Fruitland football team this year from at least, Kelly, I'd say the last 4 seasons, last 3.5, is they're always in danger of passing the football. That's not something new. It's what they do all season long.
No, Dave, and we haven't seen that before. We haven't, the quarterback's healthy this year. We got Martirano, and he throws a nice ball, Dave. And when you can throw the ball on first down, just like when Fruitland did, you're always keeping that defense guessing. What are you going to do on first down? Those linebackers have to take a step back and make sure they don't get burned on the pass.
So they push the football up to the 31-yard line of Snake River. This may be the final play of the quarter. Joe Mart hands it off to Blackwell. Blackwell gets closed up at the 28-yard line, and he'll gather in 4 yards on the carry. On the season, Joe Martirano passing 32 of 61, 630 yards, 9 touchdowns. And on the ground, he rushed for 224 yards. Right now, it looks like somebody's got a little stinger out there. Tyler Graves hurt himself on that last play.
Yeah, Ty Graves block along the right-hand side there, Dave, and comes out limping. He's trying to walk it off. Tough kid, and I know he got banged up a little bit last week in the end zone against Weezer. Took a shot to the ribs. I talked to his dad this week, said, he'll be ready to go, but maybe a different kind of injury. At least he'll have the quarter to kind of heal up.
All right, we played 1 quarter in the books. The Grizz up 7-0 on Snake River. Back after this timeout on the Fruitland Grizzly Radio Network. So Martirano turns, hands it off to Martin. So Martin, the first play of the second quarter, kids, give him a yard and a half. Martin in that first quarter rushed for 44 yards and a touchdown. Blackwell with 18 yards. And the Grizzlies doing what Coach Sly loved. The offense just kind of plodding, using a lot of clock. Keep in mind, this is only Fruitland's second possession of this football contest. We're already into the second frame.
Yeah, Dave, and just to update, Ty Graves is off the field right now. Looking at him over on the medical staff, looking over on the bench here, kind of looking him out. So Fruitland probably 2 down territory here, Dave. 3rd and about 6.
Looks like they're working on his ankle. So let's see what J. Mart, and there is a flag. No, a timeout. So Coach Bruce Sly will come out. Bruce Sly in his 10th season as the head man. He's gathered 1 championship here, 1 at Parma High School. Kelly's record the last, 5-6 years has been incredible. As the skipper of this football team, Bruce will walk out. I have a feeling that he took the timeout because he kept looking over at Tyler Graves. And I think he was thinking to himself, is Ty going to be okay? I'll kind of take this time out, maybe get him in. But Kelly, you've got the Subway sub, I guess we'll call them binoculars. What do you see over there?
Yeah, it looks like they're working on his left ankle there, Dave. I don't know if he got tripped up on that last play of the second quarter there, but anyway, got the staff looking it over there. And, usually this is a good position for Ty over the middle from recipient of a Martirano pass. We'll see what Coach Sly dials up.
And I don't see Travis Holt in that lineup either, so we'll see as they bunch up. And this, as Kelly pointed out, maybe 4 down territory, so you look and say, hey, we don't have to get it all. Let's keep it on the ground. And Blackwell has stumbled right at the line of scrimmage as they crossed the 2 backs there. Nobody was fooled on that play. As far as Snake River, making the stop was Zaven Dawson. And Kelly, it's interesting as we go down the roster, number 74, Nicole Locke. And Nicole is the lone female out there, but Fruitland knows in the days of Bridget Jimison what it's like to have the lady on there. Only she kicked. I think Nicole Locke is an offensive and defensive lineman.
Yeah, kind of amazing, Dave.
So here we go on 4th down and 6.5. They go from wing tees, bunch it out. Joe Mart's going to pass. Timing pattern has Blackwell. I think he's going to overthrow him, or did he make the catch? He caught it. Looked like that ball was a little too hot to handle, and Blackwell brought it in, so Dalton catches it at the 7-yard line, or check that, the 8.5-yard line. It's first down. Nicely done.
Yeah, Dave, I don't know. We don't have instant replay, and it was on the far side of the field. Like you said, it looked like it was going to be overthrown, but I'll tell you, Dave, those 2 young men have kind of grown up together. Their dads are good friends, and, that's not the first time they've done that, but the first time they've done it in the state championship game. And great play there. Gets Fruitland 1st and goal at the 9.
Fruitland trying to march 76 yards as they turn and pitch it off. And Colson Warrington shoves it into a scrum at the 5 and then scrums it up to the 4-yard line. Colson Warrington, first time we've called his number. On the offensive side of the football field, 5'8", 165 pounds, a senior. Now Colson would have to have an unbelievable game here, but in theory, if he went for 200 yards, he would finish with 1,000 as well. Warrington with a great, I don't know if you saw the picture in the Statesman of him cheering the team on this week, but a great photo of the young man. Football is marked right at the hash mark. Blackwell cuts to the right side, and touchdown Grizzlies! Blackwell, as he was going down, reached out with a biggie, crossed it into the orange of Bronco Stadium touchdown land, and the Grizz lead it 13-0.
Boy, Dave, I guess we could call that Dalton Blackwell drive. A great catch there on a 4th and 6 down at the 9-yard line, and there from the 5-yard line, like you said, Dave, got hit at the 3, put his pad, his knee or his shoulder pad down, able to catch himself, and then he gets into the end zone. A great effort there by Dalton Blackwell.
So here's Reed Johnson for the point after. Ryan Holtz will hold. The snap looks good, the hold looks good, and the kick is good. So with 9:54 to go in the first half, the Grizzlies compliments of a 5-yard touchdown run by Dalton Blackwell lead at 14-0. We'll be back after this 60-second timeout on the Fruitland Grizzly Radio Network. Fruitland Grizzlies travel 76 yards, punch it into the end zone at the 9:54 mark of this one here in the first half, and they lead at 14-0. And the receiver stepped back in the orange. He was going to stop, thank heaven, at least for Snake River. Looked over to the right side, Derek Williams, and the official said, keep going, because he actually caught in the blue, which would be in the field of play. Then he stepped backwards into the orange, thought it was a touchback. I guess good heads up and thanks to the official for going, run, kid!
He was motioning the clock, and then it was a live play, and it was kind of funny. It was kind of delay, and actually I think really helped Snake River, kind of let some downfield blocks develop, and they'll start this possession, Dave, at the 27-yard line, trailing 14-0.
So here we go, as Snake River winning last week against Kimberly. Good football game. And they keep it on the ground. First play from scrimmage is Emmett Smith, and Smith is piled up the middle. And coming in to make the play is Marta Rana. Also had some help in there with Reed Johnson.
Emmett Smith, the ball carrier.
Well, interesting game so far, Dave. Snake River gets the first possession, get a couple first downs, but they end up punting. You know, they've had a couple big sacks. Fruitland defensively has really turned the momentum here in the first part of this game, forced Snake River into 3rd and long.
Snake River now working from the north to the south end, and carrying the football that time was Derek Williams. And Williams will be about a yard and a half shy of the first down, so it'll bring up 3rd and short. As we mentioned, the Grizz led by Joe Martirano on the defense. Tyler Graves. Ty is back in there again, kind of hobbling around. Reggie Ramirez, Mike Humphreys, and Andrew Ketchu. The corners, Warrington and Wright, are the safeties, if you will, as Warrington heads way to the right side where they split a receiver out, and that's Chad Van Orden. They'll dive it up the middle on 3rd and short. And Emmett Smith is going to be awfully close where the official is standing right now, Kelly. It's not enough for the first down.
Well, it looked like he was going to get there pretty easily, Dave, but that Grizzly surge held him back there. So decision time for Snake, Dave, trailing 14-0 on your side of the 40. You go for it?
Well, I think what you do is you try to get Fruitland to jump off sides, and then you take a timeout and determine that. That's my guess. So it's 4th in the length of the football, 11 3/4 inches. Snake River hustles out there. The quarterback is C.J. Toulouse. Nope, they're going to go for it. They keep it on the ground and get the first down. So Emmett Smith gets the first down, and the head coach had no qualms about it. He says, yeah, I'm going for it. So Jeff Dowley, or check that, Jeff Dowley. I got to remember, you Dowley a row. You Dowley a guy that's not his name. So Jeff Dowley, who interestingly enough played high school ball at Snake River, went on to Ricks, and Idaho State is now the head coach. So they keep it on the ground. No room for Smith that time as he's piled up. Rick's kind of hot and cold. They'll either pile him up or they get big yards. It's no middle ground on this one.
Well, Dave, it'll be interesting because the two possessions that Snake River ended up punting on, Dave, that first down is where they didn't get any yardage. They had to force a second down throw. That's where Fruitland came with the blitz and then ended up with a big loss on 3rd down. So see what happens here this time.
And we'll warn our affiliates that on our next stoppage of play, we'll check in with Rance Pugmire. Got some college scores from the day. We'll update you on all those. It looked like Reed, no, that wasn't Reed Johnson over there. I think it was Scott Daly jumped offside, so it'll be 5 yards. Oh, no, it's not. Boy, I'll tell you what, it looked to me like Scott Daly jumped offside, so Snake River, illegal motion, so that will push them back. And in essence, they had a second, it was second about 5, and now it's second and 15.
Well, obvious passing down here. We'll see if Fruitland comes with that blitz, Dave.
Larry Ziegler down on the sidelines. I don't know if his folks are here or not, but if they're at home listening, good friends of the family. Hello, Mrs. Ziegler. Maybe I can come over for Thanksgiving this year. Throw and hit just as it was released. I think the big fella, Mike Humphrey, delivered the flipper just as he let go. Mike lost his hat on that play, too.
No, he did great backside pressure there. Was able to kind of get rid of his blocker, Dave, and hit him right as Toulouse was trying to throw that ball and ended up going way out of bounds.
Interesting, the 7 3/4 bucket, if you will, rolling around, and the big fella grabs it. Ty Graves is trying to play, Kelly. How frustrating has this got to be for the senior? He's all taped up, but this is the tape you want to show scouts, is the state championship game.
Well, I'll tell you, he's showing his toughness right now, Dave.
Hanging in there, Kelly. There's your favorite play, crisscross run against the Grizzlies. And Derek Williams carries and doesn't get a lot of yards. But that's the Kelly Engler special, unless you fumble it, obviously. But there's your old crisscross.
Yeah, Dave, and it used to be Money in the Bank a couple of years ago. I think now the coaches have all seen the film, and we haven't had near the success
Too many
lately.
fumbles is what's happened with that play. So on 4th down, it looks like Snake River will be forced to punt the football again. And I believe Emmett Smith punts the ball, so you've always got to be alert. Although it's 4th down and 9, he'll punt it from roughly his own 35-yard line. And I'm not sure why he decided to let that one roll back. But Travis Holt's going to let it roll to the 1. I always like to see guys come up and catch it if it's up to the 10, let it roll behind you. But it'll be spotted at the 1-yard line.
Interesting what's going on down the field. We looked like that ball went out at the 1-yard line. But evidently somebody must have touched it a little bit earlier. They're going to mark it at the 11. So still backs against the wall, but not right against the wall. Fruitland taking over here, trailing or leading 14-0.
They were talking to, I think it was Bruce Schley. They were getting ready to run the off. I'm like, wait a minute, guys, you're short some officials. So Kelly, we're not sure. You hit it on the head. Apparently someone touched it. I didn't see anybody touch that football. But that is a big, big break for the Grizzlies, as they'll mark it at the 11-yard line, and they keep it on the ground. The big fella, the quarterback, calls his own number, Joe Martirano, and you love to see him power, but you also say, well, don't get him hurt.
No, that's right, but I'll tell you, he's a big back, and he loves to initiate contact, Dave, and picked up 9 yards on 1st down there.
So the Grizzlies with the football, they'll bring up 2nd down at a yard. Bruce Schley, as we mentioned, in his 10th season. In his last 5 years, he's just gotten the team to the state championship game. Kelly, I think last year was his most masterful job of coaching, because with everybody gone, nobody thought Fruitland was going to make it the title game, and they did. Martirano gets behind Brady Shepard. Looks left, throws, got a man wide open if he can touch it under. Kelly, this is a foot race to the end zone. Warrington to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, wall touchdown. He takes that football 79.5 yards. Good going, Miss Foley. Grizzlies up 27.
Wow, what a play, Dave. Nice play action pass, and what better to call it? Coach Tracy dials it up at 2nd one. Hey, let's air it out. Martirano stepped back there, great protection. Found his man over the middle there, and it was a foot race from 40 yards out, and the Grizzlies up 20-0. Wow, Dave, 90-yard drive.
You know, and I was thinking to myself, and Kelly, I think, you talk about players securing, I think the same for Ryan Tracy there. 3 years ago, he wouldn't have called that play, and here he's thinking 2nd and short, why not dial it up? And it goes 79 yards. Here's the extra point attempt, and that's the only bad part of it. It is a miss, but the Grizzlies lead it now 20-0. What about that throw and catch? And Colson, a senior, will remember that one for a long time.
No, that was a great play. He ran a great route there, Dave. And you talked about Coach Tracy, Dave. And I'll tell you what, when you got a toolbox like he has right now, where your team can run the ball, control that line of scrimmage, and then you got that option of putting Martirano in the pocket and letting him air one out, that's pretty tough to defend, and that's what Snake River's finding out right here in the 1st half.
Lights just beginning to come on here at Bronco Stadium, and the Grizzlies looking to turn the lights out on Snake River. They left early this morning. Coach said they stopped, had breakfast, made their way here in time. They wanted to watch the early game, in which obviously those communities, Blackfoot, And here's Snake River. I think they're the same county, just not very far away, miles-wise. So everybody in the county excited. But now it looks like at least losing in the opener, the game against BK, and trailing here, it may not be a fun ride home.
Well, Dave, we've got plenty of football left to play, that's for sure. 5:19 left here in the second quarter. But right now it's been all Fruitland controlling the line of scrimmage and then coming up with some big plays as well.
Colson Warrington working on becoming the Subway sub of the game. Coming in, making that catch wide open. Martirano laid it in, and then it was a foot race. Started at the 30, the 20, the 10, ran in 79 yards. That was quite a drive for the Fruitland Grizzlies. It started on the 11-yard line, took 2 plays. Reed boots the ball, and this is going to go into the end zone. Hopefully it didn't touch Emmett Smith, but right now Snake River in purple and white, they look like they don't want to be on the field right now, Kelly.
Well, Dave, I'll tell you, you come in the state championship game and you look up and there's 5 minutes left and in the second quarter you're down 20-0. You're looking for a spark, and Snake River's probably going to have to try to do a few things here that they don't normally do. But we've seen the quarterback, if he gets some time, he can complete some passes, maybe get Emmett Smith out on a screen or something, see if he can break one open.
That play, or that series, 91 yards, 2 plays. The clincher, the 79-yarder into the end zone for the Fruitland Grizzlies. Smith carries it on the ground, and he scrums it from the 25 up to they're going to mark it at the 26.5-yard line. The clock now down to 5 minutes in the first half. The Grizzlies lead at 20-0. They opened up in the first quarter at the 8:40 mark, took all of 2 plays. Jordan Martin from 29 yards out, punched it in 7-0, and then in the second quarter, they went the other way as Dalton Blackyard, also known as Dalton Blackwell, 5 yards out, 9:54 mark. They lead at 14-0, and then most recently the throw and catch, Joe Mart to Warrington, and that's where we stand here after the missed extra point, 20-0. Second down and short for Snake River out of the wing tee. They give it off to Smith, and Smith plunges up enough for the first down as Joe Martirano stops him, but not before he gets across to the 32, where it'll be 1st and 10.
Well, David, if you're Snake River right now, what you want to try to do is you got to try to get some points on the board. You're sitting here at about your own 32-yard line. Try to get some first down, see if you can break something loose before the half here and get some points on the board. 20-0, you've got to try to close that gap if you can. Try to get some momentum going into the second half.
So Snake River with a new set of downs. They're on the near hash mark. Running room to the left, sidelines to the right. They throw it up. This may be picked. No, it's caught. Lovely throw and catch. It's sliding under the catch. It's Martin Rabick. And Rabick catches the football at the midfield mark. Kelly, I thought for a minute that Ryan Wright was going to pull that one out of the sky with an interception.
Well, I'll tell you, Dave, that was just a great throw. Ryan Wright, pretty good coverage over there, but just went over his outstretched hands. And it was just a great throw and a great catch.
Martin Rabick came into this game with 13 catches. Right now he's got 2 on this game, and at least keeping some hope alive for Snake River as they move it to the midfield mark. They run from the far hash mark, rolling to the close or the near hash mark. Rabick again makes the catch, and he'll pick up about 5 yards on the play. It's coming up to make the stop is Colson Warrington, who had the touchdown to his credit on the offensive side of the ball.
Well, we talked about Snake. They're probably trying to do some things here now that they don't normally do, trying to open up that passing game here and see if they can move yardage through the air rather than on the ground, where they have not been very successful.
Snake River hustling up to snap the football. They turn, give it off to Smith, and Smith plunges his way up to the 35-yard line. So Snake River, Kelly, I felt like that maybe wasn't a knockout punch, but it was certainly a dazer. Didn't affect them one bit, that long touchdown.
Well, and that's a great thing, Dave. When you get teams in the state championship game like a Snake River, Fruitland, BK, Blackfoot, go down the list. These teams are here for a reason, Dave, and they don't give up. They keep fighting, and, Snake River, this game is far from over. Going to try to drive it down here and see if they can put something on the board.
It looks like they want to have a timeout, but
Fruitland, Coach Carter out there trying to make a few adjustments, Dave, and Coach Ziegler seeing to get this defense to stop this drive on Snake River.
3 minutes, 12 seconds to go in the first half. They give it off to Derek Williams. Williams came into this game with 500 yards rushing, 15 catches. They like to throw to him out of the backfield. And he will carry the football, picks up 4 yards. Football is spotted, we'll call it the 33-yard line of Fruitland. 2 minutes, 53 seconds to go in this first half. 20-0. Grizz, the home team here on Broncos Stadium, at least on the sidelines, with the lead. Fruitland looking to win its second state title in the last 5 years, 3 for the school histories. As they dive it up the middle again, it is Emmett Smith. Kelly, it's chilly out there, and what that means is there's a chance for a scoop and score. I haven't called one of those since Homedale a year ago as a full moon begins to work its way over Bogus Basin. It's just one of those beautiful early, I guess we call it early winter or late fall evenings. It's chilly, but as you look out across this great Treasure Valley, you're glad to say Idaho is home. Out of the gun. Toulouse around the right side, piles up. Toulouse wanted enough for the first down. He needed a yard. He got 2. It is a first down.
Yep, Snake River with the deepest penetration, Dave, here in the first half, inside their own 25-yard line. Just 2 minutes left here in the first half. Fruitland would like nothing better to shut them out here in the first half, but they're going to have to hold here for a couple more minutes.
Looks like LSU is going to beat Ole Miss 43-36. Is the final of that game. So they look like they will have the victory and the win there. As Houston Nutt can't figure out a way to spell fun, at least not tonight. So with 1 minute 47 seconds to go here in this first half, the Grizzlies of Fruitland, Kelly, at least doing everything right to this point.
No, that's right, Dave. A little mistake there defensively, jumped off sides, and so it's going to put Snake in a 1st and 5.
So again, out of the shotgun. Play action. Toulouse has a lot of room to the right side of the field. He runs, and Warrington makes the stop as he gets it to the 18, we'll call it the 17-yard line. Clock reads 1 minute 30 seconds. Timeouts. The Panthers have all 3 timeouts. The Grizzlies with just 1 timeout here. This would be a big emotional lift for Snake River if they could figure out a way to get into the end zone. So here we come up with a 2nd down. Back to throw, wide open in the end zone. The throw and catch. The catch is made. Touchdown, Snake River. So Snake River, Kelly, we're getting ready to count them out. Martin Rabbit goes in and makes the catch from 17 yards out, and it's 20-6.
Yeah, just a nice route there, Dave. We kind of saw that earlier in the day with a 5-yard reception. This time they went the whole distance, and just a little out pattern where he breaks to the right hand or left-hand side towards the goalpost, and was able to get in the end zone there. Nice route, nice pass, and Snake River's on the board here late in the first half.
Snake River used 4 minutes on that drive. They traveled 80 yards. Rabick was definitely the hero, as he had a couple of big receptions, but Snake River showing that they can pass the football. The hold is good. The kick is up by Cooper Peterson. Peterson on the year is 22 now of 26, and it's 20-7 with 64 seconds to go in this first quarter. We'll take this time out on the Fruitland Grizzly Radio Network. So the ensuing kickoff, let's see what happens to the Grizzlies as Warrington catches it at the 7. Up to the 10, across the 20. He's got a wall to the 40. There is a flag on the play. It looks like Warrington will go the length of the football field, but folks, hold everything. There's a flag on the play. That is a shame as Colson Warrington rumbles 90 yards. But we look back at the referee who holds his right hand in the air and says, hold everything, bring it back. Oh, my.
Yeah, we couldn't get too excited about that, Dave. Once Warrington hit the 40, we saw the flag hit the 25. I'm not quite sure who the call was on, but anyway, that's going to be called back, and boy, that's too bad because they had that block set up very well. Great wedge there, and he was able to break through his second big play of the game, Dave. Had that big pass reception from Martirano. Unfortunately, the second one here on that kickoff return is going to go for naught. So, boy, that's a game changer there. You're up 27-7. Instead, it's still 20-7.
Well, and look where they're going to spot the football, too, because I asked Kelly during the break, I said, do the Grizz have a chance? He said, well, let's see where they get the ball. They're going to get it to the 15-yard line. So what a shift from a touchdown to getting it to 15th. Now I think you just got to take a knee and protect it. I know you're not going to like it, but that's what you got to do.
Yeah, and interesting, Dave, of all the kickoff returns we've seen this season, I don't recall too many flags on kickoff returns. Grizzlies picked a bad time there to pick up a flag there and took a touchdown off the board.
Well, you know me, I could make a comment about the officials, but I will not on a full moon evening. I know better. So the Grizzlies with the ball, they lead it 20-7 with 51 clicks on the clock here in the first half. Joe March steps up behind Humphreys. Just as I say, they're not going to do anything with it. They run it. Joe Mark gets around 2 defenders, cuts across to the 20, to the 25, to the 30, the 35, the 40. Hikes up to the midfield mark, and Kelly, is there another flag? And there's that official saying, bring it back. Oh, my.
No, that's kind of unbelievable here, Dave. Just 2 great plays back-to-back, and this one's coming back as well. I don't know what the call was there, maybe a hold, but I'll tell you what, there's a little frustration going on here. We haven't seen a flag all game long, and now we see 2 of them back-to-back nullifying 2 big Fruitland runs here.
Probably heard the natives growing restless from Fruitland, but that's 2 in a row they don't like. So now the football goes back half the distance, if you will, and they'll spot it at the 6-yard line. So Joe Mark turning something out of literally nothing. Looked like 2 different players had a chance to stop him. 37 clicks on the clock here as the Broncos, big orange where it says Broncos, the Grizz will actually huddle up all the way there in the orange.
Yeah, Dave, and I look for Coach Tracy probably to take a knee here, Dave. 37 seconds left. You know, you don't want to drop back the pass, maybe have a turnover or something. Snake River will be right back in this game within a score. So probably Fruitland going to take a knee, Dave, here and get conservative. Too bad, 2 great plays there at the end of the first half, and both of them called back. So, but that's the kind of dimension that Martirano gives you. He's quick out of the pocket. He can get some big yards.
So Joe Mart, again, he's going to run it himself, try to do the same thing. They can strip him up. And I think Fruitland would be content just to let this clock roll 29, 28, 27. Now, keep in mind that Snake River has all of its timeouts. They have 3, but they're thinking to themselves, hey, 20-7, we have to feel good about that.
Yeah, I'm surprised, though, Dave. I tell you what, you can't do anything with those timeouts at halftime. You lose them.
Yeah.
I'd be calling a timeout right here.
Well, that's why you're the voice of the Grizz. You know that
stuff, I could get Fruitland to punt, but that's not going to happen. We're going to go in the locker room here.
All right, let's take a quick 30-second timeout. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout of the Fruitland Grizzlies. Snake River will open the second half by kicking the ball, and Dalton Blackwell will gather it up to 5. He runs to the 10, across to the 20, and is stopped at the 21-yard line, where Fruitland will have it first down and 10. Joe Martirana, 6'3", 215 pounds, a sophomore. He is the quarterback. The fullback, Jordan Martin, 6 foot even, 195 pounds. He is a junior. The wingback, Dalton Blackwell, and Colsing Warrington. Tyler Graves will step in at tight end. Of course, that big offensive line, Ketchu, Johnson, Shepard, Daly, and Humphrey, they lead the way. So the first play from scrimmage in the second half, Dave Tester, Kelly Hingler set to bring you the play-by-play as Fruitland bunches out to the wing T look. 20-7, they lead it. The handoff will go to Blackwell as he goes around the left end, cuts it across to the 25, lunges up to the 27, and he picks up 5 yards on the first play from scrimmage.
Yeah, nice run there, Dave. And interesting here, the first series of the second half, Dave. Of course, Fruitland leading right now 20-7. Would like nothing better than to get some first downs here, kind of change the field position and see if they can get Snake River back on their heels. Snake River hasn't stopped Fruitland yet, Dave, except for that last drive of the first half when Fruitland basically took a knee.
Fruitland with their back to the south end of the end zone. They are working to the north end zone. They have the east sidelines, and they run it up the middle to Jordan Martin, and Martin will pick up 6 yards and enough for the first down as they push the football up to the 34.5-yard line.
Fruitland staying with that run game, Dave, and it's been very effective all game long. They've got some nice yardage, put together some nice drives. With the exception of that long pass play, it's been primarily a running game that's got Fruitland where they're at right now with the lead.
We sent your dad and Mr. Hingler and Joe and Josh down to Subway. John Cox was kind enough to set us up with Subway sandwiches. Subway, eat right, eat fresh in Fruitland, Payette, Weiser, and in Ontario at the Walmart. So carrying the ball, is that Graves with it? I didn't see if that was a broken play. How did Ty Graves end up with that ball, Kelly?
I don't know, Dave. I thought that was Joe Martirano behind center there, and it looked like kind of a broken play there. So, I do see, like you said, Graves back in the game here.
But Graves had the football, and like I said, we may have missed something, but somehow they turned a broken play into 5 yards. So to bring up a second down and 5 for the Grizzlies. They lead at 20-7. We're here in the third quarter as the City of Trees becomes the City of Lights as light turns into dark. A beautiful evening here. Joe Mart turns, hands it off to Blackwell. It's a reverse. One block is all he needed. He got it. Unfortunately, his momentum shoved him out of the 45. There is a flag on the play that came all the way from the side judge who was in front of Snake River. If he's calling a play on that far side of Fruitland, the side judge, okay, so it was on Snake River, whatever the call was that came from the side judge. What's he call it, infraction against the Snake River? Oh, come on.
No, I think what he's calling, Dave, is he's telling the folks on the sideline, and I think it's just a warning.
Okay.
The sideline warning, and that's where the call came from.
I thought he was actually hanky. I'm like, come on, we got other things to worry about. And if a kid's sneaking up on the sideline. All right, here we go. That was enough for the first down as Blackwell got around the end, picking up the yards necessary to make it happen. Dive it up the middle. They reverse it again. This time it is Warrington. And that time the play was difficult because that front line of Snake River managed to get through Jared Smith, Derek Williams, and Lane Harper. Also Ravick in there as well. But Jared Smith is a man whose mission is search and destroy.
Well, interesting last couple play calls, Dave, been to the outside. Like you said, kind of a delayed reverse. And Dalton Blackwell in the first one's got the corner, but Warrington gets the corner on that one. So it's 2nd and 10.
They may be setting up a reverse pass look here. Fruitland now spreads 2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. A bit of a passing look now. Joe Mart steps up behind Daly. He's going to run it himself. He shows pass, and that time just a little too anxious as Joe Mart stepped back 3 steps, put the ball high in the air to look like a pass, and then he rambled up and picked up about 3 yards. It'll be 3rd down. We'll call it 6 for the Fruitland Grizzlies as they push the ball to the midfield mark.
Yeah, Dave, they've done a nice job here pushing this ball up and start the drive in the second half. It'll be interesting to see if this is 2-down territory. I don't know if it is or not for Dave. They're just on this side of the 50. Probably need to get it on this play.
So they bunch up in the single wing. Normally they bounce out of the wing T. Blackwell dives ahead, and he has enough for the first down. So Blackwell out of the single wing look. As they went, normally they go single wing, then bunch into the wing T or billow out, and they did that time. Took it on a quick snap, and he gets enough yards. He needed 5. He got 6.
I'll tell you, Dave, of course, we got 12-minute quarters. We're sitting here at 8:48. Fruitland's putting together a nice, pretty drive right here, trying to eat up some clock and drive that ball down and get up to another 3-touchdown margin.
Well, back to what you said, Kelly. If the defense can't stop it, let the offense carry it. And this time they keep it on the ground. I believe that was Warrington. His jersey got stretched so bad by the defender who pulled him down. The 2 and the 4 looked like a 0 in the top half. But he picked up 2 yards on the carry.
That's a good point, Dave. And, Snake River trying to hold that line of scrimmage here. They know Fruitland's going to run the ball. And those linebackers, Dave, I've noticed now starting to creep up a little bit. Look for Fruitland maybe to put some kind of play action pass together.
So here come the Grizz. They give it to Blackwell on a delay as he rolls across the 40 to the 37-yard line. Picks up 3 yards on the play. Dalton Blackwell, who came into this game with 932 yards, needs just 70 yards to get over 1,000. Looking at his numbers right now, 950, 960, 963. So he's nearing 1,000 yards in rushing. Kelly, as you know, this game usually determines who the A3 player of the year is, too. And that's what we've seen in the past. Blackwell. It's going to dive up the middle to Martin, and Jordan pushes and shoves his way. And that's enough for the first down for Jordan Martin, who comes into this game needing 150 yards to get in the neighborhood of 1,000 for him on the season. And J-Mart right now with Jordan Martin has 910 yards, so he needs another 90 to go. I'd like to see both those backs finishing the year with 1,000 each.
Well, what's amazing, Dave, is you look at the seasonal distribution. Blackwell carried the ball 93 times, Martin 92, Warrington 106. I mean, they really distribute the ball.
I thought Blackwell last year was the A3 player of the year. This year just missed too many games. As they give it to the second back through, may have gathered in a couple of yards, Jordan Martin on the carry. Jordan has been fun to watch throughout the season. The stuff he's done as a fullback. We call him our Tundra truck from Steve's hometown Toyota. They just give the big fellow the ball and say, here, take a test drive and you'll get a turkey. That's nice enough on Thanksgiving.
Well, the thing we've noticed this year, Dave, with Martin, unlike the year before, is this year he's had that breakaway speed. When he gets in that secondary, he's got it all the way in the end zone.
Grizzlies with the ball at the 28, 6.5 minutes to go. Here in the third quarter, they've used 6 minutes on this drive. And Joe Mart, as he turned, he fell. And I'm wondering if the guard stepped on his foot. If you don't get out of there in a hurry, and the way they teach these O-linemen, they'll actually step on your foot. Martirano fell, and just as he was falling down, tried to shovel the ball into Blackwell's breadbasket, and he lost a yard on the play.
Yeah, Dave, interesting there. First time really Fruitland's had a negative play from the line of scrimmage, and it's going to set them up with about a 3rd and 11 here. I think it's probably 2-down territory. They need to get some positive yards here on the 3rd down to set them up with a 4th and short.
Yeah, let's see what Colson Warrington does as he lines up as a wing. Let's see if he bunches out or spreads out. They're going to send right, or check that Travis Holt to the right side. Mark rolls out. Blackwell's got it. Had one man to get past. And unfortunately for the Grizzlies, Mike Humphrey missed his block. Humphrey needed to block that guy, and then that would have been a touchdown as far as I could tell, Kelly.
Yeah, there was a lot of blue over there in the wide open, but a great reaction there defensively, and he needed to make a play, and he did. So Fruitland now, Dave, in a 4th and 15.
Yeah, it'd be a 52-yard attempt, roughly. I mean, I don't see any reason to punt the football. Even if you run it, you're going to, don't you agree?
No, I think Fruitland's going to talk about it.
Yeah, talk it over. All right, let's go ahead and take a timeout. All right, here we go. As we expected, they are going for it on 4th down. Joe Mart is going to get sacked. No, he gets rid of it just in time. Oh, good golly, Miss Molly. Dalton Blackwell catches that. That's a touchdown. But great play by Joe Martirano as he was going down, lofted the ball and just in front of the outstretched hand of Dalton Blackwell. Great play call, Kelly, on 4th and 15.
Yeah, no, it was open there, Dave. But
didn't mean to interrupt the subway either. Sorry about that.
Give Snake River the credit, Dave, defensively getting pressure on the ball there. If Martirano had a little more time, he could have floated that ball up, and that would have been 6 points. Instead, Snake River, Dave, takes over here. Fruitland long drive, but they come up empty.
So here we go, Snake River with the ball. They hand it off to Smith. Smith cuts around the left side and gathered in a couple of yards. It'll bring up 2nd down and 8. So the football is spotted at the 35-yard line of Snake River. They have it on the north end of the field working to the south end zone. As almost a full dark evening. And we say almost because a full moon over Boise tonight. Lights taking full effect here at Bronco Stadium, a beautiful facility on Broadway. Kelly, sounds like your ride's coming.
A little late, Dave.
All right. Here we go on 2nd and long. Back to pass. Quarterback steps, throws, fires, and it's going to be caught. Clear down at the 30-yard line. So they take that ball all the way from the 35 of Snake River and push it down to the 25 of Fruitland as Toulouse hangs it up in the air, makes the grab, and a big play for Snake River. They can pass this football.
Yeah, Dave, 40 yards, and there was a blown coverage on that. He was wide open. Safety hadn't come over, and I don't think the cornerback dropped. Maybe he was thinking it was run, but anyway, big play for Snake River, Dave. They score here, and then we start thinking about that extra point that Reed Johnson missed in the second quarter. Could come back and haunt the Grizzlies here unless they come up with a big defensive stand.
And the officials take a timeout because Ty Graves just says, I cannot go anymore. And you have to wonder if could that have been because of well, he wouldn't have been in cover, though, from his D-end spot.
No, he was crashing in, Dave.
I was thinking maybe they dropped him back, but no way. So, all right, so Graves gets out, cannot go anymore. Football is at the 29 of the Fruitland Grizzlies. The crowd making a little bit of noise from Fruitland. They roll and dive it, and carrying the football is Derek Williams, and Williams will be piled up after he gains maybe a yard on the play, and taking the stop was Brian Wright. And he had help in there with Trevor Stanger as well.
Well, Fruitland Dave's secondary has been pretty tough throughout the year. Ran into a pretty good passing team in Homedale, and they gave him a few problems. But, this Snake River team, pretty diverse, Dave, can move the ball on the ground. And, of course, Toulouse finding the open receivers, moving the Panthers down any way they can.
They'll split 3 receivers to the Fruitland side of the football field. Toulouse rolls to the right. He runs Beer, keeps it himself. It's a foot race to the end zone. 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, touchdown, and there's a horse collar to boot. So they'll add 15 on the kickoff as C.J. Toulouse rolls around the right end. It was a Beer. He kept it 28 yards for the score.
Yeah, Dave, interesting. They ran trips to the left, had 3 receivers out there. He just went to the right. He had the numbers. All he needed was a couple blocks, and he got it. And old Mr. Moe is on the side of the Panthers right now. It's 20-13, 3:11 left here in the third quarter.
So Toulouse, who also, on that play, got horse collared, so they'll tack on 15. So here's the extra point attempt. It's 20-13. Kick is up. And good. So C.J. Toulouse takes the football 18 yards, punches it into the end zone. They split 3 receivers to the left side of the field. He rolled around the right, ran veer football. Defensive end crashed. He kept it, went into the end zone. And the worst part is a horse collar, so they'll actually kick it off from the 45-yard line. They'll boot it into the end zone where it will be a touchback. So Kelly, going back, I felt like Fruitland made the right decision not to punt it, but I guess looking back now, maybe they should have punted the football. I don't know.
No, I don't think so, Dave. I mean, they had the right play called. Snake River was crashing in. It's a game of inches. If Martirano would have been able to float that ball up a little bit, Blackwell would have went in, and, Fruitland have 27 on the board instead of 20.
Right.
Fruitland just got to put a drive together here, Dave. Go back to bread and butter, fire off the line here, open up some holes, and see if they can get some momentum back.
And Joe and Josh Hingler, our spotters, said that ambulance coming in, it's apparently one of the Snake River cheerleaders injured. Don't see that very often, but St. Luke's Elks rehab crew there to help out. Dalton Blackwell takes it. Blackwell rolls around the right end, up to the 30, to the 35, and finally shoveled down at the 41-yard line, a pickup of 21 yards for D. Black.
Yeah, great blocking out there by Travis Holt on that side. Got a block there about the 30, and then Dalton Blackwell did the rest. Broke a couple tackles and got that ball up to 41. So Fruitland changing field possession real quick here with a 21-yard run on first down.
So here come the Fruitland Grizzlies. 2 unanswered scores now by Snake River, but the Grizz lead at 20-14. That extra point, it was a factor a week ago. it was a factor against their opponent. Hopefully it won't be a factor against Fruitland. They run a little reverse. Warrington tries to turn the corner. He does so to the 45, tries to spin the other way, and then they throw him down on the sidelines. And the officials said, well, that was part of the momentum, but Warrington lost his hat over there. Got to keep those hats on, fellas.
Yeah, I've seen Fruitland run a little more to the outsides here, Dave, in the second half. Don't know if the coaching staff picked up something at halftime, but that's about the fourth run we've seen where they're just trying to get around the edge and use some of that quickness. Good positive yards there. Picked up about 7 on first down.
So the Grizzlies faced with a second down and short at the midfield mark. Running room to the right, sidelines to the left. They bunch up single wing. Now they billow out to wing Tila. Martin is the fullback. Blackwell the tailback. Back to pass. Hangs it up. The catch is made. Foot race to the end zone. T. Holt trying to get in. Takes it all the way down to the 4-yard line. So we'll call that roughly a 50-yard throw and catch as they fake the dive, fake the reverse. J. Mart steps back, hit Travis Holt, gets it all the way down to the 4-yard line.
Well, that was a big play there, Dave. Just kind of a crossing pattern there. Fruitland on a short and second and short. You can do that when you have some room to play with. And got Fruitland inside the 5 here. Grizzlies need to score, Dave. When you get in the red zone, they got to put up some touchdowns.
They're on the far hash mark. They give it to Martin. Jordan, or check that. It's a touchdown for the Fruitland Grizzlies. And Joe Martirano keeps it. Looked like he was going to have pulled me up here. Thought he was going to hand it to Martin. He spun 180 degrees, called his own touchdown, and called his own number in for 6.
Well, Dave, that's what championship runs are all about, and championship teams. Their Grizzlies were kind of reeling there. Like you said, Snake River had a couple scores, and then all of a sudden, you know, Fruitland's got to get some momentum. They come up with some big plays, big pass from Martirano to Travis Holt, got it down the 4-yard line, and Martirano took it in. So kind of
I think you go for 2 here, don't you? Now there's a late flag. What's that for?
I don't know.
They were in there. They all huddled up, and then the official threw the flag motion against the Grizzlies.
What? Dave, I don't think I've ever seen a touchdown. We talk about the touchdown. I mean, virtually that flag was thrown.
Unless
just now.
Are they calling on the extra point?
I don't know. I tell you, Fruitland fans are getting a little frustrated, Dave. They've already had 1 touchdown pulled back. They've also had a 50-yard run pulled back for a flag.
Now, what I'm wondering, Kelly, was that on the extra point that they threw? Because they're not taking points off the board. So I'm wondering if that's on the extra. I can't tell. They have the first down marker up. Folks, we don't know. We'd love to tell you, but we don't know. Martirano, we believe it was on the extra point that they said it was illegal motion, but now the official's holding up 2 fingers. No, it was on the Well, Kelly, I don't know. Do you?
No, Dave. The touchdown is off the board, even though it says 26-14. It's 20-14. Martirano on the keeper there, Dave. Gets it down inside the 4.
Coach Sly is now having a discussion with the official. They ruled it a touchdown. They put it on the board, and then the officials all got together and threw a flag.
Dave, it's still on the board. It's still on the board.
I mean, they haven't explained it to anybody. So here we go. Second down and goal. J. Mart again. Joe Martirano, touchdown. This time, put it on the board and leave it on the board.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dave, and look at the officials and see if that hanky doesn't come out here in a couple minutes, because there was no laundry on the field there for that first touchdown. And then all of a sudden the officials huddled up and threw the flag. So, you know, that's one we'll have to talk about Monday morning at the coffee shop. Interesting here now, Dave. Fruitland up 26-14. Will they go for 2 and try to get that extra point back? Looks like Martirano's going to run a play.
Yeah, I think they've got to go for 2. Football spotted as a hash mark. They bunch up. Martirano behind Daly, turns, he's going to keep his own number, goes in, the 2-point conversion. Well, they had to score twice on that drive. Folks, what matters, though, is it's all for good. Kelly, I must say, in my career, I've seen a lot of crazy things, but I've never seen someone score a touchdown. The celebratory fight song shows up on the board. Then all of a sudden the officials have a meeting, throw a flag during the extra point attempt, and they didn't even take it off the board because the scorekeeper, he doesn't know whether to laugh or cry.
And the bad thing is, Dave, no one called us up and explained what exactly happened. So that's one we're going to talk about probably Monday morning down at the coffee shop. But more importantly, Grizzlies up by a couple scores here, Dave. Got that extra point back, and I'll tell you what, Coach Tracy and Coach Sly putting a lot of confidence in the sophomore. Joe Monterano handled the ball in the last 4 possessions there, was able to get the touchdown and then give it back to him for the extra point. So great blocking up front. Good run by Joe, and Grizzlies up 28-14 here. Just 2:09 left in the third.
Of course, the big play was the 40-yard throw and catch. Martirano hanging it up for Holt. He caught it. Then the very next play, Joe took it into the end zone for what we thought was a touchdown. So he had to do it one more time. The Grizzlies travel 80 yards on that drive. And they lead at 28-14. Kelly, what was most important about that is they answered the call.
Exactly, Dave, and that's what state championship teams do. That's what Fruitland did a couple weeks against Homeville. That's what they did last week against Weiser.
So Reed will boot the football. Coming up to get it, and bobbled. It's a loose pigskin out there. And fortunate for Snake River, they gobbled it up, and turning the corner around the right side, picking up some yards, is going to be Derek Williams. Let's break 30 seconds. All right, so here we go. First play from scrimmage after the kickoff. Fruitland leads at 28-14 with 1 minute, 59 seconds to go here in this quarter. And a great play defensively. Coming up is Ryan Wright. In essence, they lost 2 yards as trying to extend the play out was Derek Williams. So Williams loses 2, and it'll be second down and long. And now Larry Ziegler says, put your ears back, guys.
Yeah, that's it, Dave. It seems like when Toulouse has some time in that pocket, he's able to complete some passes. Fruitland's best pass defense has been that blitz. I would expect him to bring it right now on second long.
They're to the near hash mark. They've got running room to the far side of the field, sidelines to the near side. They turn, quarterback Toulouse is going to keep it. And Toulouse probably picks up 6 or so yards. It'll bring up second down, and we'll call it 8. So C.J. Toulouse, the lone senior skill return guy back, if you will, came into this game with 1,100 yards passing, 400 yards rushing, and obviously is the heart and soul of this football team.
Well, Snake River coaching staff, Dave's got to dial one up here. You're trailing by 2 touchdowns. The clock's winding down here in the third quarter. It's 3rd and 8. Big play here for both teams.
Fruitland crowd, you can hear them in the background. Toulouse with time, hangs it up, has a man wide open, and drops the football. He was backpedaling, and it was Martin Ragbick, who has done a great job, and he just leaves his noggin down on that blue turf thinking what could have been. He was right at the 50 if he could have corralled that in. But remember, he's backpedaling and trying to bring in the piggy.
No, not one of Toulouse's better throws, Dave. We've thrown some nice balls here this evening, but that one is a little off its mark. Should have been caught, but those are tough catches to make.
So it should force Snake River to punt the football. We'll see if Emmett Smith is in essence, the guy that dots the I. He's counting the number of players, so it looks like he will be punting the football. He's going back to retrieve it is Travis Holt, who started this defensive stance with a great 2-yard loss TFL tackle. And it looks like Snake River's short of body. Is hustling in there is Toulouse. And maybe this is part of a fake or something, Kelly, because very seldom you would sneak the quarterback in, but Toulouse was just snuck into the lineup. I hope somebody watches number 4. Well, Toulouse doesn't do anything, so they boot the ball. It'll roll at the 40, take a small Fruitland bounce, or I should say Snake River bounce, but Fruitland's going to have a great field position at the 40-yard line of the Grizz.
Well, great defensive stand there, Dave, for Fruitland. Snake River drove that ball down in the into the first half for a big, long drive. They opened up the second half here after Fruitland had to turn it over on downs, scored another touchdown. Real important for Coach Tracy, Coach Ziegler. The defense came up with a big stop there on 3 and out, and get your offense back on the field, see if you can keep that momentum going.
And that big offensive line of the Grizz, Ketchu, Johnson, Shepard, Daly, and Humphrey doing a fabulous job. Shepard puts his foot, or I should say his big right paw on that ball. There is a flag on the play as Martin takes it. So Martin gets maybe a yard, and I'm going to guess it's going to be motion against the Grizzlies.
Yep, legal shift, Dave. Good call there. Fruitland's going to get set back 5 yards and probably, maybe they'll decline it, Dave. They didn't gain much on it, so maybe it'll be a 2nd and 10.
Coeur d'Alene defeated Centennial in the 5A game, 28-7. Blackfoot lost to BK right before us in the 4A, 41-28. Here in the 3A, the Grizz up on Snake River, 28-14 as we head to the fourth quarter. West Side beats Malad 14-6 in the 2A, and it's Troy over Grace 32-6 in the 1A. Last night, the Broncos shut out Fresno State 51-zip. Today, the Vandals beat Idaho 28-6. So Martirano brings the troops up. First play from scrimmage, more than likely the last play of the quarter after the penalty, and that's where we stand. 28-14. Grizz 12 minutes away from the state title back with more after this 60-second time.
And back here at Bronco Stadium, Fruitland leading right now 28-14, opening up the fourth quarter. Big play here, the opening quarter, the fourth quarter. Fruitland in the 3rd and 11th position, trying to see if they can get a first down to sustain this drive and keep Snake River's offense off the field. Martirano under center. He hands off to Blackwell. No, he decides to keep it. Goes up the middle. He's going to be short of the first down. Probably picked up about 6 yards. So Fruitland going to be in a funny position right here. Second play of the fourth quarter.
On the tackle of 55, Quentin Kirkham.
11 minutes and 41 seconds until a title for somebody here. Grizzlies have been to this game, as we mentioned, 5 straight years. 2006, the last title. Reed Johnson at the 30 to punt the football. I'd like to see the Grizz maybe get a couple more. As the boot will go to the 20. And good coverage by Fruitland as Travis Holt had a couple of big plays. Kelly, it's interesting, beginning of the year, we look at Zach Reinhardt returns to the quarterback, and he gets hurt. And then, not Blackwell, I think it was Justin Seaman. You go down the list, and Travis, you might have to play. And Joe Martirano, they were grooming him to be a wingback. And then you say, J-Mart, we need you to play quarterback. And he could end up being, depends on what happens in this game. I think he's going to be the 3A player of the year as a sophomore. So Snake River with the football, they carry it, will pick up 3 yards as they're all the way down to the 20, we'll call it the 26-yard line, their own 26-yard line, and in desperate need of a score on this drive.
Well, Dave, you mentioned Martirano, and I'll just kind of close that thought. It's not that they didn't think he could be quarterback, but he had been such a good running back and was so effective last year. But boy, they looked at that depth chart. They saw Blackwell, Warrington, Martin. They said, you know what? He could play quarterback, and he stepped up this year and done a wonderful job.
Did a great job out of the shotgun this time. They'll run veer, straight veer, more into a wildcat as Toulouse keeps it. And he dove ahead enough for the first down. Tell you what, the CJ Toulouse has played a great game for Snake River. Snake River, I think at the beginning of the year, we thought, well, maybe one of the good teams, but probably a Kimberly or a Sugar Salem is going to make it to the title.
Well, Dave, and I kind of had my eye on South Fremont. They had a great year last year. They ended up losing the playoff game down to Weezer, but I had a couple of kids, a quarterback and a receiver, both juniors. I thought maybe they might find themselves here on the blue on November 20th.
3 receivers will go to the far side of the field, the near side, the Fruitland side, wide open. They'll throw it across the middle. The throw and catch is made as Toulouse throws a nice pass to Derek Williams, and Williams catches it at the 45, a pickup of 13 yards, and it'll be first down. Forgive me, I said the 45 is actually the 49, so we'll give him 19 yards on that play. Wow, what a throw and catch.
Yeah, it was, Dave, and a couple receivers broke deep there, kind of cleared out and sent him underneath on the pattern there, and wide open, as you said, and picked up big yardage.
Warrington got the wind knocked out of him on that play, and the official said, hold on, let the young man get his helmet on. So they push it up to the midfield mark, in essence, 3 receivers to the right, wide open to the left side. In essence, running the pistol look, if you will. Toulouse picked off. Joe Mart with the interception. So Joe Martirano, Kelly, if he's not sealed the deal with that pick for 3A Player of the Year, who's the writer for the Statesman? Rebecca? I can't remember. I'm going to go in and talk to you. Rachel, I'm going to go in and talk to you right now.
That was a great play there, Dave, and Fruitland had great pressure on the ball. They had somebody blitzing, kind of forced that turnover there, and a quick throw, and Martirano was right there, and just a great defensive play. We're talking about his quarterbacking, but Dave, like you said, he's been doing it on both sides of the ball.
Joe Mart has 115 tackles on the year. That is his 3rd interception, 6 sacks. And you look at his numbers in this game, over 200 yards of passing now. So Martirano working not only on a state title, but also on a Player of the Year honor. He'll split one receiver to the right. They pitch it off. No, they fake it. Joe Martin hanging it deep. There is a flag on the play, but this one will run all the way down to the 2-yard line. But there is a hanky at the 39-yard line. But Kelly, I don't see that official back there saying bring it back. Do you?
I don't, Dave, and that was a big play to Travis Holt down there. Nice play fake, and looks like this might go against Snake River the way they're moving.
So if they mark it, let's see what it is. Illegal shift Grizzlies. Kelly, look at all the plays. Joe Martin, the long run. Warrington, the kickoff return. And then that play, too. Certainly you can never say if you're Snake River, we didn't get a good call by an official tonight.
No, that's for sure, Dave. And boy, the way everybody was running down the field there, we thought that was probably going to go against Snake River. But anyway, another tough call for Fruitland. Made some mental mistakes here this afternoon, Dave, but this probably wouldn't be a 2-touchdown game, probably be a wider score than it is.
Well, and Kelly, and we've seen this early on the season with Fruitland, that illegal motion call. But the officials aren't used to seeing. I don't think it's illegal motion. But then when you bring officials from different leagues and whatnot, they see they haven't seen it before. And that's why so many illegal motion calls. Of course, we also saw the officials take a touchdown off the board after I don't know, was that I've never seen anything like that. I was going to call it a powwow timeout. I don't know what it was. It's crazy.
Boy, big chain of events there, Dave. Fruitland inside the 5, ready to put this game away. Instead, they're going to be back to the drawing board here. Martirano up the middle.
So Martirano lumbers his way to the 46-yard line. And went the official mark it at the 44. Boy, they just took 2 yards away from him. He didn't have his knee down. He reached out with the ball. Well, you got the lead, 28-14. Just keep that clock rolling and everything will be fine.
Yeah, Dave, like you said, 9-12 left here. Grizzlies up 28-14. Just don't want to turn the ball over, Dave. Just want to hang on the rock and keep moving it forward.
So to bring up a 2nd down and 8, keep in mind the Grizzlies would have had it all the way down to the 4-yard line. Now what do we got? A timeout, Fruitland Grizzlies will do the same. Fruitland up 28-14. 9 minutes away from a title. We'll be back after this timeout. So on 2nd and 8, after the timeout, Joe Mart turns, picks up the 1st down, gets it to the 45, spins, and he'll be stopped at the 42-yard line as he picks up 12 yards. So Joe Martirano not only guiding this team what appears to be to a state championship, Kelly, it's going to be a pretty tough argument not to say he is the 3A Player of the Year and is a sophomore.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dave, there are so many seniors on this team and underclassmen that have contributed to such a great season. You don't go 12-0 without a lot of contributors. Had a discussion this week and, trying to figure that out. You got a kid like Colson Warrington's played tough on both sides of the ball. You mentioned Martirano. Blackwell missed a few games, but what contributions he's made. Ty Graves, what a great season. And then you got those folks up front, Dave, on the defensive or offensive line. Tremendous job this year.
So Martirano, they run their crisscross. It might work this time. Blackwell spins 180 degrees and is crushed on the backside of the 30, but that is a 12-yard pickup. Kelly, that puts him over 1,000 yards right there, that rush.
Yeah, what a great season, Dave. And boy, I'll tell you, great running, great blocking. It's just, amazing in a 12-game season that you get over 1,000 yards, and he missed 3 of them, Dave. So you got 9 games there. He's averaging well over 100 yards a game, obviously, if you do the math quickly.
So Travis Holt brings into play. And Kelly, here's the story. I mean, obviously, you see every single game Coach Sly does, but Rachel Roberts, the people that decide who's going to win, they see the last 2 games of the year, and that's what they base it on. That's the fact of life. So if you have a great championship game like Joe Mart is, and remember last week he had a great game too, you're probably going to be the Player of the Year. Martirano rolling to his left. He wants to tuck it, looking for Reed to give him a block. And he gets it down to the 25. Kelly, he's going to be close to 100 yards rushing and over 200 yards. I mean, it had over 300 yards passing, but they've taken, 60, 75 away from him.
Well, it's amazing. Coach Tracy's really changed up this play calling, Dave. Running out of that single wing and the Martin up the middle and Blackwell around the edge and through the tackles there. And now we've had a quarterback that looks like he might throw, just kind of a rollout and then gaining some yards on the edge. So Fruitland kind of changed it up here in the fourth quarter and been very successful.
Kelly, in honor of the late Mr. Tesnalitic, would you, if we score here, would you sing "Turn Out the Lights" for us?
I don't think I could do him justice, Dave.
Come on now. They hand it off to Jordan Martin, and Martin around the left side lunges forward, and he gets it up for the first down.
This drive, Dave, is just what the doctor ordered. Take off a lot of time. Of course, Fruitland trying to capitalize on that turnover. Martirano picked it off, and chewing up a lot of clock, Dave. 6:46 left here, and another first down at the 20.
Going to be a party in Subway tonight as the Fruitland Grizzlies lead at 28-14 with 6.5 minutes to go. What a 5-year run it has been. Kelly, I didn't know if you were going to let me up here, because remember, I'm 0 for 4 in championship games or something like that. 0 for 3, I don't know my record. It's not very good. Martirano steps up behind the big center, Brady Shepard. Turns, hands it off on an end around. Warrington to the 20, to the 15, down to the 10, stays on his feet, spins 180 degrees and tries to pull people in. Looked like he had a shopping cart in Paul's Market, loading up people left and right, and rumbles down the 4-yard line. Wow.
Well, I'll tell you, that was a great run along the outside there, Dave. Just picked up speed. Looked like he was running downhill. Made a great cutback spin. Thought he was down, spun around, and got inside the 5. Fruitland set up in great position here, Dave. First and goal at the 4.
So Coach Sly telling Martirano, here's what I want to run. Sends him in from the sideline. I don't know why you don't just say, hey, Martirano, spin 180 degrees and you call your own number. They can't stop it.
No, and that's probably what we'll see a whole lot of, Dave. Fruitland not really wanting to turn this over and hand off. Probably just give it to Martirano, follow that big line.
First and goal. They're going to give it to Blackwell, and Dalton is piled up. Back to what you said, he kind of flopped that ball in the air. Blackwell pulled it out of the sky at the 2. So it'll be second down and goal at the 2.5-yard line. Folks, this, my friend, is the old ball game for Fruitland. If they can punch it in, I think we can start singing "A Party's Over." Turn out the lights. Maybe your dad will sing it for us, will he?
Yeah, I don't know. I just saw him running out the back there, so I don't think you're going to get him to pony up for a little song and dance.
So here come the Grizzlies, looking to put this one out of reach. Second down and goal at the 3. Martirano calls his own number, lunges in, touchdown. Get ready to clear out some space in the trophy cabinet, Fruitland. The Grizz are going to bring home a cup.
Well, great blocking, Dave, up front there. Reed Johnson, Humphrey, Ketchu, Brady Shepard, all up there, just moving some bodies away, and Martirano just cutting through those gaps. It's been the story all second half here. Grizzlies have a chance now to go up 35-14, and the best news is there's only 4:56 left in the fourth quarter.
So the Grizzlies get ready to tack on the extra point. Brian Wright will hold. Reed Johnson splits the fluorescent green goalpost. Grizzlies smelling it, 35-14 with under 5 minutes to go in the old ball game. We'll be back with more after this timeout. Dave Tester and Kelly Hingler. Rance Pugmire in our studios. Rance, I'll tell you what, at our next dead ball, in fact, this is right after this kickoff, we'll have to give us a couple of scores. Dave Combs, our studio engineer, has done so much magic to bring you folks the games, whether it be Parma, Fruitland, Weiser, all of them. The one mistake there, Reed Johnson kicked it out. We're up here to celebrate. But Rance Pugmire, tell us what he got in the studio for us, score-wise, on the college football scoreboard.
Thanks very much, Dave. An exciting game earlier today down in Louisiana. LSU, after 6 lead changes in the third and fourth quarter, outlasts Ole Miss 43-36. Nevada, no trouble with New Mexico State. And Virginia Tech comes back after an 0-2 start. They clinch the Coastal Division of the ACC by winning at Miami today. We'll play in the ACC Championship in 2 weeks, and they are up to number 15 in the country. Dave?
So back here, it is 35-14. Fruitland with the lead. Just waiting for that clock to expire. C.J. Toulouse will, in essence, be forced to pass the football. Remember, the ball was kicked out of bounds. That is a penalty, so it'll be spotted up at the 35. Kelly, it was interesting as the ball's pushed to the 45. Fruitland crowd, they just so upset at the officials. They even booed that call.
Yeah, and what happened was Reed Johnson just tried to squib that ball and took a funny bounce at the 30 and went out of bounds.
Well, the funny thing is, they may be right. I think it touched one of the Snake River players, so maybe they had a reason to boo. This has certainly been a night to cheer for all Fruitland fans. Folks throughout the Snake River Valley enjoying this one as the Fruitland Grizzlies ranked number 1 at the beginning of the season. Kelly, I remember telling you, after we got done with that Emmett game, I said, I don't know if they're the number 1 team in the state, but Coach Sly reminded me, hey, we got 5 or 6 starters that didn't play in that game. After you got done at Columbia, you said, Dave, I think they are number 1 in the state.
Well, Dave, and then they beat Baker up in Baker after that against a very good Baker team that, by the way, I think was trailing Ontario at halftime over on the Oregon side of the state quarterfinals. But, I thought after that Baker game, Dave, wow, this team's lights out. They were scary good. Defensively, really did a nice job, and they've continued to improve throughout the year, Dave.
I want to say hi to our friends at Baker City at the Geyser Grand. The Geyser Grand, I stay there. Kelly Hinkler does, and so should you. The Geyser Grand Hotel at Baker City. Log on to geysergrand.com. Fumble football on the sack. Is that our stupid score? Stupid score. He got tripped up. Oh, my. Scotty Daly almost had him a scoop and score. And Kelly, I can't remember the down lineman in the last time they won the championship game, but I wanted a stupid score, but we didn't get it.
Well, you almost got it, Dave, and I'll tell you, when the boys look at the film tomorrow, I'm not sure the Snake River guy tripped him or Justin Seaman tripped him, but anyway, he's down inside the 30-yard line, but a great hit there. Toulouse coughed up the football, and that's what this has been about, Dave. Fruitland able to apply pressure on Snake River, forcing another turnover here, the second one of the second half. In the first half, Dave, they got in on a couple quarterback sacks, and that's really been the difference here defensively for Fruitland.
Now, Scott Daly, 6'3", 220. People are picking him up, celebrating, and I just saw Brady Shepard, but Brady goes 6'2", 270, so I guess he can't pick up Daly like he's a rag doll. Nicely done. Well, the Grizzlies certainly enjoying this one. Joe Mark steps up behind the center, turns, hands it off, and carrying the football and going airborne is Blackwell. So Dalton Blackwell, who had a brilliant year, and in my opinion last year, he would have been a player if you'd watched all season long, was the 3A player of the year. Just what he did on offense and defense. And now Joe Martirano, at least in my opinion, as far as the vote, would be the 3A player of the year.
Well, Dave, like I said, it's hard to pick, and like I said, I visited with some folks this week, and I don't know who you pick, but like you said, there's folks that pick them that haven't been around the program as much. Yeah, so I think that's a good point, but certainly a lot of kids have stepped up here the last couple of weeks and played some pretty darn good football.
Shane Steiner now in at center. So Shane getting a little bit of time in there. So good to see Shane Steiner as Joe Mark steps up behind him. Hands it off to Chris Olinger. And Olinger trying to get a touchdown. Remember Cody Olinger and Cole Olinger maybe doing a little celebratory work for those guys.
Yeah, Dave, and great shot at Chris in the paper this week with a lot of Grizzlies, in that exciting win last week against Weiser after Fruitland scored that final touchdown. And, I got to give props. Been some great coverage through the radio this year and paper. And Fruitland very fortunate to have such a successful season.
Tyler Campbell is in there. Daniel Dawley. We'll do our best to get all the names in because I'm sure Coach Sly wants all the kids to have a chance to have their name mentioned. As fumbling the football was Martirano. He nearly turned it into who comes in for J. Martin? He's going to play quarterback.
Well,
Are they going to let him go out and have the obligatory celebratory moment?
Yeah, I don't know, Dave. Probably not.
I'm thinking Ryan Wright.
Well, Hayden Graves came in on that JV squad and played some ball here.
I think he deserves it, don't you, to be able to have the crowd acknowledge what he's done?
Well, at this point, Dave, I'm not sure he cares. I think he's enjoying the moment.
Well, you got to remember he's a sophomore, too. Coach is probably more concerned about the seniors as they bunch from a single wing to a wing tee. Martin, single setback. Jordan is going to carry the football. We'll certainly miss 40. Thunder Truck has given us some fabulous memories. Martin family, if you're listening. What a great kid, Jordan. Out there carrying the football. third down and what's it going to be, about 6. I think Coach Sly, if he had his way, wouldn't score right. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, it's fourth down, Dave, or what is it, third down? Third down and about 5, and about a minute left. Maybe he'll take a couple knees here and call this good. But, boy, it's going to be exciting back in Fruitland, Dave. Monday, I'm sure they'll have assembly and get another banner hung in the gym.
Get the fire truck out,
It's been a couple of years here where I think baseball was the last one that the Grizzlies put up back in 2008. So, anyway, it'll be a great time.
Here's the touchdown for you, Kelly. Jordan Martin in, the exclamation mark. 4-0 goes in for 6. Jordan Martin, 6 foot, 195 pounds, exclamation mark on his senior year with a touchdown that makes it 41-14. Wow.
Yeah, Dave, just a simple play there right up the line. Nothing fancy, just some hard-nosed football, and the Grizzlies able to tack on their 6th touchdown of the afternoon. I guess early evening now, but trying to expand that lead, and Reed Johnson gets one through here. It's going to be 42-14. About 38 seconds left in this 3A state championship game.
So Chris Olinger will snap the ball. Wright will hold it. Reed will kick it. And folks, if there was ever any doubt, it's all gone now. Fruitland, the #1 team in the state of Idaho, wire to wire from the start of the year to the finish. 42-14 back after this timeout. Well, Kelly, I hope it's okay. I'm texting pictures and scores to a couple of year-old teammates and classmates. Scott Ocker's going to get one here, Jordan Gross. So make sure all the Carolina Panthers know about what happened. And what a win tonight for the Grizzlies, huh?
Just outstanding, Dave, and what a journey and a season it's been, and to culminate here with a big victory over a tough Snake River squad is just something that's great. Doesn't come along all the time, Dave, and I'm sure this group of kids and the fans are going to enjoy it for a while.
So the Grizzlies will kick it off, and it'll be ran back to, see where the official spot there, 34-yard line. So Fruitland will accept its trophy, obviously. There'll be lots of pictures down on the field, and then load up the bus and head back to Grizztown. So, folks, I don't know, Kelly, what would you say? About 2 hours they'll be back after everything's done?
Yeah, no, I imagine, Dave, by the time they get out of the locker room and everything, like you said, hour and 45, a couple hours, and they'll be back. So
it'll be fun to greet them when they get home. I know a lot of folks in the area listening to this football game. Dave Combs, KWEI and KIOV, obviously making all this happen. They run a little hook and ladder, Snake River, but it's not a Fiesta Bowl for Snake River. It's this one, Milk Bowl 2010, will go the way of the Fruitland Grizzlies, 42-14. They opened with the first score of the game, and then in essence just hung on and took it from there. I will give it to Snake River, scoring the one touchdown before the intermission and then coming out. Kelly, I thought they would be like campers who pulled their tent, but they didn't do it.
No, Dave, they didn't, and they're here for a reason, and they played a great game. Not enough experience, and didn't have an answer for that Fruitland defense.
Here's the deep ball going to be picked off. So just adding a little more enjoyment, if you will, as picking the football off is Justin Siemens. And Kelly, there's another kid that I thought was going to make a huge impact. We forgot Justin Siemens was hurt this year.
No, he was, Dave, and he came back from that shoulder injury and just an outstanding job. But boy, Dave, I wouldn't be right if I wouldn't compliment the SRB and what a conference it's been the last couple of years. Of course, Fayette, Weiser, and Fruitland all playing in the semifinals a year ago, and I would have to say probably two of the best teams I've seen this year come from the SRB that have competed against Fruitland and Weiser and Homedale. Boy, Dave, when your conference is that tough, it really sets you up for the postseason. And the victor that came out of the SRV certainly represented well in Fruitland, and just a great conference with some great coaches. And next year, Dave, who knows, is going to come out on top. But a great night to be a Grizzly.
So 42-14 is the final. The Grizz win the 3A state championship. It's Coach Bruce Sly, second as the head man here in Fruitland, his third of a career. Fruitland gathers state title number 3. Congratulations